Hey, it's Cobra here at MaddenGuides.com, and I want to welcome you guys back to the Madden Guides YouTube channel. Don't forget to check us out at MaddenGuides.com. And what we're going to start off here for this season, for the Madden 22 early season, we're going to show you how to defend the gun bunch vertical glitch that's going on right now. You guys have probably ran into it already. If you look on YouTube, you'll find several different guys showing how to run this and show you how effective it is. And particularly, it's effective against cover 3. That's what we're going to focus in on this breakdown. We're going to show you how it works. Then I'm going to show you some counters that actually do a pretty good job at defending it without having to do a whole lot. And that's what I want to show here. And also, before I get into doing the breakdown, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to all you guys who have followed me over the last 20 years. This is my 20th anniversary of breaking down Madden. I started this back in 2001 on MaddenGuides.com. That's where I first started doing the breakdowns as far as with the video breakdowns that you're seeing now. Obviously, over the years, things have gotten better as far as the way I do it. And for you guys who follow me at VG Sports over these last, back in the day when I used to do it, I appreciate that. And if you guys continue to follow me, great. And for you guys that are new, I just want you guys to know I like to break down the X's and O's of the game. I use a telestrator, a little bit different than some of the other YouTube channel guys you might see. Not that anybody's not any good, because there's some really good ones out there that do a really nice job at breaking this down. I just try to take a little bit of a different approach. The other thing about me is I'm more about the X's and O's rather than showing, I don't want to say glitches, but I like to show the actual gameplay X's and O's of a real football game and try to translate it over to Madden. Now, if I do show a glitch, that's what I'm about to show here, I try to show the counter to it. So that's the other thing I try to do. If I'm going to show a glitch, I'm going to show a counter to it. So let's go ahead and get on the field here and take a look at this play. And as I mentioned already, it's going to be the verticals play out of the gun bunch formation. You can find it out of the, like I'm using the Cowboys right now. That's the one that I'm going to use it here. And again, it's a pretty standard play. Everybody runs this play. It's always been pretty effective. And this year's no exception to the rule. The only problem is I think that there's a coverage glitch, and I can tell you right now, EA's on top of it. I know they'll get it fixed here within, hopefully next patch, who knows, at least certainly it'll be fixed. So let's just put it that way. All right, let's go ahead and actually get on the field, take a look at it. And what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to go ahead and run it. And then what I want to do is just show you why it's so effective. So let's go ahead and hot route the one receiver that's really key to this, and this is going to be this receiver here. Now, normally he would run a wheel route. What guys are doing, and this is something that we all done over the years, we've hot routed this guy simply on a streak, such as what you see on your screen. And I like to do this myself. Basically, the reason I do it is to clear out one of the safeties and have the safeties drop back. And then a lot of times it'll open up something else, particularly the crossing route. It might open up the tight end's wheel route. So this isn't anything new here. Unfortunately, against cover 3 coverage, it gets wide open in most cases. So let's go ahead and run it. Now, I will tell you, there are some times that you're going to find that maybe a defender will run into that receiver. For example, you may see something like this, where this defender right here, what he may end up doing is running into this guy right in this area here and knocking him off the route. That happens, and it'll slow it down, and it won't be quite as effective. It doesn't always happen, but just know that it's something that can happen right there. And right there is the big play right down, deep down the field. And that's really, in a nutshell, what happens against cover 3. A lot of times, that guy will get that wide open, just as what I just shown here. And honestly, I didn't probably put as best as I could have, because a lot of times you hit it right, you can get a one-play score on that. Hit one play and you can go all the way. Now let's go ahead and look at this, because I want to show you a couple things that are going on, what makes this play so effective against cover 3. Now, let's be honest. When you're sending 4 vertical routes against a cover 3 coverage, that's the reason you send 4 verticals, is because you're looking to get one guy open. You've got 4 guys going deep. One guy should technically get open, because you're stretching the defense vertically by sending 4 guys on horizontal routes versus sending just 3 guys. So against cover 3, you've got 3 deep defenders. You've got 4 guys running vertical routes. Someone should be open. Unfortunately, this is almost too open. And that's the downside of it. And I think if you look at this, you're going to find what the problem is. So I've already pointed out that this guy, we hot route him on a streak. Now, the other route that really comes into play is this route right here coming across. This is that crosser. What happens is you're going to see the safety, and what he's going to do is he's going to rotate over in this direction here, and then he's going to kind of come back to the inside here. Now, that's kind of going to take him away when he sees that crosser coming across. He's not going to be in position to defend that receiver as he comes across. The other problem is you're going to watch here and this is more really, I think, more really where the problem lies. It's going to be this defender right here, which is this corner. Now, as you watch, he's going to stutter a little bit when he's turning his hips. And what happens is, the reason he does that is because this route that's being ran by the tight end on that wheel route causes that. I believe that's what's causing this. And when that happens, he's not able to turn his hips fast enough to get deep down the field. So let's go ahead and take a look at this in instant replay, and then you can really see what I'm showing here. I'm going to go ahead and get over here and kind of really zoom in on this right here, because I can really show you really what's going on a little bit better, I believe, when I do this. So let's go ahead and zoom in right here. Let's zoom out just a smidget. See how he's right there? That's a really good example of what I'm showing. As you look at it, see how he's turning his hips right now? He's looking towards the quarterback. And now let's go ahead and keep going on this. As you watch, now he's turning his hips. Let's go back and zoom in again. So now he's finally turning his hips. By the time he turns his hips and gets going back in the direction to defend this, then he's almost too late to get down here and defend this. He can't get all the way back here and defend that route that's being ran by this guy right here, that seam route. That's the problem you're seeing right here. Also, if you look, let's go ahead and go back over here a little bit. I'm going to work my way back over in this direction a little bit. If you look at this guy right here, remember I talked about the crossing route? That's that safety. He's kind of working his way over here when he really should be working his way back over in this direction here to go ahead and try to help defend that deep route that's being ran by that seam route. But instead, as I pointed out, he's looking to go ahead and cover that crossing route, which you see right here. So that takes him out of the play. So what ultimately ends up happening is you watch, he can't get back over fast enough to cover that, and it turns into a big play. So those are the two things that I noticed about this play that really, really allows that to be wide open. So let's talk about how you can go ahead and counter it. And the first thing I want to show is this right here, is this guy right here. This is the one we're just talking about, who runs that deep zone. Remember, he's running the deep 1/3. And if you're in match or whatever, he's supposed to be matched up on that. Well, what you can do is change this. Instead of him running that 1/3 coverage that he's in, what you can do is you can go ahead and put him in a deep half. You can hot route him to a deep half, which is still going to be fine. It might open up something else, another can of worms, but for this particular play, it does a pretty good defending it. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch off to another defender so you guys can see this. And then I'm going to go ahead and hot route this guy on the streak. So this is the same thing we talked about earlier as far as him getting open. Now this time I want you guys to go ahead and watch. So this time he's in position. I'm not going to take control of him, but you can imagine that that's going to be what the results are. You got the coverage there now. The guy doesn't turn his hips. He's where he's supposed to be at and cover that a lot better. So if you go ahead and put him in this coverage, again, if you go ahead and put him in the deep half and then you switch off to somebody else, now you got to be quick. Obviously, you may not be able to make all the adjustments that you want to make, but you can certainly get this to work. All it takes is to bait your opponent into one time to thinking he's got this, and you pick it off. Now you just change the whole thing around. Now you got to pick because he thinks he can burn you in cover 3. And here it is, cover 3, but this time you get the pick. Let's do it one more time here. And again, that's the result right there. Okay, that time he actually ends up catching it, but you can see the guy's clearly in position to defend that. And that's the main thing I want to show. If I was to take control of him, I guarantee it, I could probably pick that off, and then I wouldn't even have to worry about it. Let's go ahead and switch off again to another defender. One more time, and then I'm going to show you something else you can do here in a second. Same thing. There he goes, another pick right there. So at any rate, and let me tell you something else. I know that's Ramsey right there of the Rams, who's a factor, X factor type player. But if you were to put another defender in there, he's still going to be in position to defend it. The only other thing I noticed that you might be able to do as far as with the hot routes and stuff on the defensive side of the ball, I'm going to show this to you. I still recommend the deep half, one of the best. But what I want to do is just show you something else you might try. I don't know if this works nearly as effective. Honestly, I don't think it does. But I just want to go ahead and show it to you. You can go ahead and put him in a deep zone quarter. I would honestly recommend just doing a half, just like I said, because that seems like it works a lot better than anything else I've seen as far as with the hot route adjustments. But I just want to go ahead and show this to you. And there he goes right there. See, he doesn't get in that deep quarter. He doesn't get over there. Now, I realize the other guy did this because I threw it late. So, at any rate, So the deep half really is the best way of doing this to defend that, okay? Because he doesn't turn his hips. He gets back and defends that a lot better than he would if you didn't do that. So that's one way of countering it. Now, what I want to show you is something else here with this. And I'm going to show you a couple of defenses that you might consider to actually, even though they're cover 3 defenses, that might be something you can consider doing. So let's go back into the gun bunch verticals, and let's just run this against a couple different defenses that can actually defend us, in my opinion, that do a fairly good job at defending it. So let's go ahead and run this one. This one's called 4-3 even 6-1. Now this is cover 3 buzz, as you see on your screen here. So I'm going to go ahead and run that. Now I want you guys to watch something here. I'm not going to take control of anybody. The only defender I want you guys to concentrate on as we do this is this particular defender right here. That's the linebacker. He's going to go ahead and be the left outside linebacker. So I'm going to go ahead and hot route this guy on a streak. And just remember that this guy is supposed to be playing a curl flat. So he's supposed to go out into this area here and do this. But I want you to watch what he does as we run this play. So let's just go ahead and run it. And this is something else that does. Now that time he didn't get a good hit on him, but sometimes what will happen is when you run this defense, sometimes he'll actually hit the guy and force him to go further outside. Let's go ahead and run it again and see if that happens in this case. Like I said, it's something that could happen. Then do it again there, but you still got the coverage out in the outside, and that's even though that's cover 3. Now that guy's in position to defend that. Same thing. Again, he's in position to defend it. But watch to see if on occasion that guy might hit that guy and alter the way this route is ran. If he can just alter it just enough, then it changes things up, and now you've got that guy in deep position to cover that. So that can change things a little bit. For some reason, this particular defense, even though it's a cover 3, it seems to work against the verticals as far as that glitch is concerned. I'm not sure why, but for some reason when that guy hits him, then it changes things up over there. Now, like I said, I can't guarantee it's going to work every single time. And the other thing I wanted to show you is another defense I want to show. This one might get you a sack. And this one here, as you look at it, is called Dime 236 Cover 3 Bluff. Kind of an interesting defense. Now, the only problem with this one I don't like about it is it kind of shows itself and reveals itself when you do it. I'm sure you can mess around with it. Maybe it'd be something that you guys can use. This is just something I found when I was labbing it. See how those guys do their thing? They go out to the outside. I'm sure if you were to mess around with this a little bit, that, you know, maybe you can disguise a little bit better. But maybe that one time you decide to go ahead and run it, it could get yourself a sack. And that's what we're trying to show here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and run it. A lot of times what will happen is, that time he got bumped there. Let's go ahead and run it again. A lot of times this backer who's coming on the blitz from out here, a lot of times he'll get in without even getting knocked. And if he does, then he can get the pressure on the quarterback. Let's go ahead and run the same thing again here and see what happens here. Like I said, I can't promise it's always going to happen. Right there, there's an example right there. So what he does is a lot of times he gets a free angle at the quarterback and allows him to get pressure on the quarterback. And that's really what I wanted to show with this one. So again, here's the deal right there, and he gets the pressure. So that's something you might consider doing, and that's not even counting what I talked about earlier. We could go over here. If you're not sure that this is going to work, if you're worried about not getting a sack fast enough, go ahead and put this guy in a deep half, switch off to some other defender. It doesn't matter whatever one. I'm just going to go ahead and take a lineman, and then I'm just going to go ahead and hot route this guy on the streak. Same thing. And that time he didn't get in there, but we still got our coverage deep. So we still might get the pressure, might not get the pressure, but as long as you make that one adjustment, then you're good. Let's try one more time and see what happens here. Like I said, I can't guarantee you're always going to get the sack, but that's why you want to make that one adjustment there with the corner there and make him in that deep half. Let's go ahead and run it one more time here. All right, here's the sack, here's the coverage. We got everything going on that we need right there. So there's a lot of info right there. One other thing I did want to point out, and I didn't mention it too much in here in the breakdown, I guess I probably should have, is the running back. A lot of the guys that are showing here, and it's pretty nice what they're showing here, what they might do is they might hot route the running back on a maybe an out route or an option route. For example, here's the option route right there. So they might hot route him on the option route. What's nice about that is that if it's zone coverage, he'll go ahead and hook up. So he'll come out of the backfield here, and then he'll come in this area here. If it's a zone or it's man coverage, then what he'll do is he'll end up breaking to the outside like this. So I didn't really discuss that because I really just wanted to focus in on the on that one route. Now keep in mind, guys, what I just showed here defends that particular route. I'm not saying what all these defenses I'm showing or this coverage is going to defend the crossing route you got, if they hot route the running back. You know, I mean, mainly my main focus was just to show how to go ahead and cover that vertical route that's being ran by the slot receiver, or not slot receiver, by the outside receiver right here once they hot route him on a streak. That's all I really wanted to focus in on this breakdown. So just keep that in mind as I broke this down for you guys. So again, guys, I appreciate it. Hopefully this is something you guys can take a look at. As I said already, I'm pretty sure EA is going to fix this very soon. I know they already know about it. So this will be a glitch. I'm sure it'll end within a few, within a month or two, or at least when they get the next patch out, possibly earlier. Let's just hope and pray, but I'm sure that they'll get on it and get this done. So don't let this discourage you. Just find a way to counter it. If you guys have been playing Madden as long as I've been playing, you know darn well that every single year there's always something that we have to find a way to counter. And this is another example. And let me just tell you this, back in the old days when I started playing Madden, we had to wait till the next season of Madden to come out, or the next year for Madden to come out to have these glitches fixed. Now that they've got ways to patch it throughout the season, it's much more easier to fix, because this could have been a whole year thing. Imagine having to go back and playing this game back in 2005 and having to deal with this all season, waiting to get 2006 to come out. So at any rate, guys, appreciate you guys again for following me around. If you guys haven't had a chance to subscribe to the YouTube channel, please do so. For those of you guys who have subscribed, I appreciate it. And like I said, I'm back into it now. Now that we got Madden 22 out, I'll be doing a lot more breakdowns as we continue forward throughout the Madden NFL season.